Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Anything, Everything, and Nothing podcast. My name is Reggie, and I'm joined by my co-hosts here, Nick and Kyrie.
What up?
How are you?
And welcome to our first episode. We actually have a wonderful title for it. We call it Episode 1. And here on Episode 1, we're going to introduce ourselves in this podcast. I'll start with myself. I'm Reggie. I said that a little bit earlier. I'm really interested in business and success, which kind of brought me to the idea of this podcast. And making money, getting to the bag. And I really want to see other people do the same. I'm married now. I'm 26. In terms of my career, I'm going to own my own business. Well, multiple businesses. I'm working on those. You guys will hear about that. And straight out of Pennsauken. Yeah, insert applause there.
I'm disturbed.
Pennsauken. Pennsauken is known on Wikipedia as a suburb of Philadelphia. So, usually I'll probably hit. It is seriously go on Wikipedia.
It's a suburb of Philadelphia, not in Pennsylvania. You know, the state that Philadelphia is in.
That's really how. So basically, I feel like that describes me really well. It's like I'm from Philly.
Who wrote that on Wikipedia?
Did I write it?
That was you. Exactly. You already know what it is.
Okay, and that being said, I would like to introduce you guys to co-host number one. Not really that there's an order. Kyrie, tell us about yourself.
I'm not number one. Just co-host.
Co-host,
of
yeah.
One of three. But yeah, I'm Kyrie. Going off what Reggie said, I'm big into bettering myself in business, in particular in the fitness realm. Personal trainer on the side. I enjoy just living life, man. Taking it every day as it comes, growing. You just hear about my journey as well in business and fitness and the everyday struggles that we all deal with, man. You want to pass it to Nick? I got you, Nick. Bounce pass.
My screen is black right now. I can't even see you guys. So
I just sent you a flashy pass. You're good. For the gamers,
Oh.
you get that.
Oh shit! Oh, I'm in the
For
corner.
non-gamers. So
I wish I could see you guys. I don't know why. I feel like that'll make it easier rather than
We
just
see
staring at
you.
the black screen. I know. I don't know why my screen's just. What the hell?
there's a lot of melanin going on. It's okay.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I put
Sorry,
on,
man. I already
It's
cut
not that black.
And anyways,
Yeah. What am I
Nick?
doing? Yeah. Oh,
tell us
so,
about yourself.
Oh, great. So my name's Nick. I'm from Brick, New Jersey. I'm into sports gambling, making fun of Reggie. That should have been first.
Wow.
Fantasy football, all the other sports, politics, some finance, not too crazy, and video games, of course. And yeah, that's. Oh, everyone else, the relationships. I am in a polygamous relationship with me, myself, and I. So other than that, nothing else is going on.
Hey, I forgot to
Shameless
say I'm
plug.
from Philly. My bad. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Well, it's too late. They don't care anymore.
Philadelphia.
No kidding. Me too.
No, you're not, Greg.
You're from a suburb.
You gotta chill. Now you gotta make sure Greg sees this. That's hilarious. But okay. So we're all here.
Yeah, we are.
There are so many things that are going on this week. I'm pretty sure you guys, by the time everyone hears this podcast, like the election will be done. Yeah.
You'd hope, but courts.
Exactly.
It's all gonna go to the courts.
Yeah. So we're hoping. Anyways, before I even talk about that, I do want to say thank you all for tuning in. This podcast, as we've said, yeah, no problem. Yeah, this podcast, as I've said multiple times before, our goal is to actually make an impact. And how this podcast will do that, that's going to keep evolving. But a couple of things I can confirm. I know Nick, as he didn't talk about it too much, he's actually pretty crazy about his fantasy football and fantasy sports. So I'm hoping he'll offer us some advice on some
And
sports.
food. Forgot about food.
But
Big into food.
are you really going to be able to advise people on food or talk about food?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so we'll be looking out for that.
Are you? I mean, listen. Just because you're the guy that takes out the frozen cheesesteaks out of the freezer that you got for $3 in the literal like clearance rack of Target, does not mean
Not
that
true.
me and Kyrie can't talk about food.
It would be that would be at the, although it is Target clearance price, it's from
still
Aldi.
in the frozen section.
Yeah, it's in the frozen section at Aldi.
You
And
got a frozen cheesesteak, bro?
My grandma shops in Aldi's.
I shop at Aldi's.
your grandma makes some great decisions, and I would follow her advice and her template if I were you.
Shout out to Aldi's.
Yeah, wow.
I'm
Let's
shouting
write that down.
everybody that could possibly give
Shout
a
out to
over
Aldi's.
eggs.
Yeah.
Reach out to
Shout out
Aldi's to be a
everybody.
sponsor.
Yeah, fundraiser. Hello. Wait, sponsorship, not a fundraiser. I don't know. We're all going down to Aldi.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
okay.
you
You're
said
an idiot.
no.
It's fine.
Same thing,
Hmm
basically.
Sometimes.
And Kyrie is actually pretty serious about fitness. He did say he's a personal trainer, but I'm pretty sure he's doing some Zoom classes right now for anybody who wants to tune in. And
I'll do a shameless plug at some other time, but yeah.
no shame about it. So hopefully, if you guys want to tune in, even for some fitness questions, send them his way. He got them. But yes, this
Tell 'em
Friday.
where, Reggie. You ain't tell him where.
Yeah, that was nice. You were like, hey, send it his way, and then
Hold on.
gave them no information.
Good point.
They're like
so
every
our-
customer service rep that no one wants to talk to.
You had him with the socials or what?
At this point, there will already be multiple social medias that people can see either underneath our pictures or on our pictures. I don't know. I'll make it work. They'll see them. But yeah,
Got it.
DM us. DM Kyrie for questions.
Don't listen here. To be clear,
DM Kyrie for questions about
only.
fitness. Yes.
DMs.
Yes. I'm sorry. Kyrie's taken. Nick isn't. So, ladies, DM us.
That wasn't even like a
but
lady
also-
thing. That was in general. That wasn't like for just lady. That was for everybody. Like, you don't just start sending me random DMs that's not fitness related. That'd be strange.
Fellas.
Oh no, mine are open. Mine are like wide open.
Just anything.
For anything.
Right.
You
Everything.
you don't have to have a real picture, and you can contact me right now, and I'd probably be open to it.
Okay. Sure.
I
Thank
need
you.
Nick to have higher standards.
If you got a van, cool.
Cool. Maker model preferences, Honda Odysseys or like Kia Sedonas.
I love Honda.
Well, if we're going Honda Odyssey, I mean,
Those are
that's
spacious.
pretty. Unless you get to the Range Rover, you're pretty top of the line there. But if we get like a
Mhm.
Grand Caravan, we gotta just slow your
Pump the
jets
brakes.
there.
Okay. Well, everyone, you heard it here first. Don't enter
No
our
Grand
DMs.
Caravans.
Yes, don't enter our DMs with less than a Honda Odyssey. Picking up where we left off. Nick is interested in business and investing as well. Nick, are you going to talk about some of that on the podcast? If you weren't,
Sure. I mean, it's been a very that's such a weird thing to talk about. Like I don't consider myself a professional whatsoever when it comes to stocks. I just consider myself someone that can pay attention to some certain trends and try to take advantage of it when the market feels right. But that's what everyone should do when you're just a lower capital investor. You're not looking to, try to hedge a bet. You're looking to just try to make the smartest, accurate decisions with data that you have. And that's all I'm trying to do.
yeah, I think you, even just from my talking to you about it though, I think you're kind of downplaying it like heavy about one being lower capital, and two being like, because literally I know people who are like, yo, I got one stock, I'm the man, and you're like, I know you're just like amateurs.
Yeah, one
So-
stock might be Amazon and Tesla combined.
I've actually kind of shrunk my portfolio over the last couple months. So
But that wasn't for no reason. The reason why you did it was because
Apple was splitting, and I wanted to invest in as much as I could in Apple, because I had gotten out of it the last time that it had split and made a lot of money. So I was expecting it to skyrocket it. And look, I was wrong. It hasn't. It went down, and I haven't even recouped some of the money that I've lost. But it's not a loss unless you sell. So I'm in for the long haul.
I remember when you told me that before, and I still been like fighting myself internally to like not sell it and just take the loss I'm at now. I don't have that many shares of Apple.
Reggie, I bought a stock one time, this therapeutics company stock, It was I bought it at $11. Bought 250 shares of it at $11. About, just a little under $3,000 that I put into it. Not whatever. It tanked. At one point, it was down to 76 cents. Nothing was left. There was no point in selling. And I stuck with it, just let it sit there and sit there. And it got killed again with COVID. And it didn't rally when everything else rallied. And then I check it about 2 months ago. And all of a sudden it's at $8. I'm like, holy shit. I almost have like 60% of my money back if I just keeps going. I'm just going to sit on it. I could sell it right now and only have lost 600 of the $3,000 I put in. I'm not doing it. It'll come back and I can at least sell it at a zero net profit, or maybe even make money off of it after sitting on it for like 2 years after it collapsed.
But even just in that example, you're already showing that you're definitely not an investor like a lot of the people who just got into stocks like when the market split. So we definitely expect to hear some of your opinions on trends, because I know you can talk more about it than you give yourself credit for. Kyrie, you did not talk about the fact that you're really interested in music, movies.
I'm not like a producer, my guy. I just like music. I think we all can say we like music here.
I guess that's true.
My bad. Talking low. I apologize. Yeah, I wouldn't say. I mean, like I'm some type of music aficionado.
And Nick wouldn't say that he's an investing. What's that word? Aficionado.
You are really dumb, for real.
The word you're trying to say is aficionado.
Aficionado. I've never
Yes.
actually said it. I've heard it, so I know what it means. I just, my mind is weird.
We'll work on that. It's okay.
Yeah, so I'll cut that out, I think. But we always talk about content all the time. I know Kyrie is like the main one informing me on music. Nick and I talk about what movies I haven't seen, but all in all, everybody listening to this should know that this podcast, of course, the baseline goal, we want to add some value, encourage people to do things they aren't doing. I might be speaking about myself more so now, but like it's really a podcast that's going to come out. Of course, we want to add some value in lives, and actually, I'm literally repeating.
But he speaks for himself. I ain't looking to value anyone's lives.
Yeah, but I just think it's an opportunity to put something positive out there. And this is not coming from the perspective of someone who's so far away that if you reached out to us that you couldn't reach us. I want, even when this podcast blows up, I still want us to be outable, contactable. That's what,
Outable.
down to earth. I want us to be,
man. Jeez.
there it is. There it is. Thank you. I want us to be an approachable group, down to earth. Because we regularly have conversations that I think are value filled. And I know that it'll get us somewhere. It'll get people somewhere. And at the same time, we can all build together. So that would be the goal. We'll all build together, grow together, and we're just going to keep pushing. That being said, topics of today.
We got on the docket. Hit me.
Well, oh yeah, the election is at this point, by the time everybody's hearing this, the election is done.
You'd hope again.
Yeah, right. So we're filming this on Wednesday, and so hoping everybody knows who the president is, and we're hoping that the race war that everyone is saying is going to start doesn't. But all in all, in terms of everything that everybody's saying,
Which side are we on again?
Of the race war or the election?
Exactly.
right. Good point. So in terms of everything with this election, I think that
Everything, anything, and nothing when in
With this
terms of this election.
right. So in terms of everything encompassed in this election, I think that you have earned your right to speak about and offer your opinion, even if it's wrong, as long as you voted. Because there have been a lot of people who have like really just not voted. Actually, Autumn texted me while she was at work today and told me that her manager was bragging to people about how she didn't vote. Like how? Why?
Okay.
Some people feel like neither candidate earned their vote.
Yeah, so I guess that makes sense. But one of my other friends made a great point that I don't know why I'm not just saying. Shout out Steve Smith. Steve was saying that if you were to just write your own name on the ballot, if 15% of the people did that, then it would offer a new platform to someone else, which is like smart. So even then, it still makes sense to like vote. You know what I mean?
You would have voted for Kanye West. It's a vote.
It just put it out there. Kanye apparently got 60,000 votes. I saw that earlier today.
Insane.
Yeah, it was only in the states that he was on the ballot in, so there's not including the write-ins.
But it's still like, it's good.
Write-ins don't get counted as much.
Yeah.
I was more, surprised by the news. I didn't know that Kanye actually lived in Wyoming. I thought he just had a ranch out there occasionally.
No.
He actually lives there.
Yeah, he was talking about it. He was talking about that when he was talking about what was that? Jesus is King. He was talking about like finding a spot and saying, "Yo, he loved it. It's huge." I'm sure you can imagine that, but it's like crazy huge.
I voted for Kanye.
Dope, great. You voted. That's the important thing, and that's the main part of that section. So vote. Oh, and also, guys,
Figured why not vote for Kanye? They're all insane anyway. Neither not. What makes either of the other two more qualified than Kanye?
I feel like I could argue that one.
I mean, I could too, but politics are a joke these days.
I mean, 4 years ago, I couldn't really argue Donald Trump, but now,
Here we are.
yeah, so. But okay. But yeah, that was the election. Also, of course, well, I'm saying this even though it shouldn't really need to be said. But guys, no matter who wins this election, no matter who is our president as of the airing of this podcast, it's all good. God's in control. Life is good. You keep focusing on you. Be successful. But okay. Exactly. But okay. So.
Wait, before you get off the election, like once this is all over, like don't forget to continue to vote in your local elections. It's very important.
Oh yeah, you know what? We could definitely talk about the COVID-19 pandemic because that's a kind of a serious thing.
Wait, the what?
Right. So, in terms of the pandemic, it's been a weird time that. I mean, do you guys think this will be over? And so I'm getting married in March.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Do you
Oh
guys?
yeah, congratulations. But you're asking if the pandemic's gonna be over? No.
No. Will the pandemic be over, or will do we imagine that they're going to lift restrictions? Do we imagine that? Because I feel like they're trying to really hard.
They've been trying to. I feel like they might close down again in certain places.
Yeah, like Wisconsin just went up 30% or something like that. I forget. I didn't look at the numbers. The numbers depress me at this point, so I don't look at them anymore. But I know a lot of the key battleground states were getting surges in COVID numbers. So, with the winter coming,
It depends on the president. It depends on what happens.
That's true. It depends on how resources are allocated. Depends on the organization.
Mm.
I mean, a big reason why the U.S. handled COVID so bad in the beginning was because we didn't have adequate testing, and that's not the case anymore. We have a lot of testing now. The issue is that we don't have any kind of national, like this is our guidelines. There's no, leadership from the top that actually reinforces the guidelines.
Yeah, I was about to say
to make all this go away. And unfortunately, some states, they did the right thing. The numbers go down. I mean, the numbers still have come up in states that did it somewhat right, like New Jersey. And I mean, when I say do it right, I mean manage it afterwards. In the beginning was a mess for everyone.
right.
But I don't know. I don't think that it's going to be gone for a while. Even if Joe Biden's elected president, that doesn't mean that it just poof all of a sudden it works like that. No, because you have to have the willingness of the people to abide by these mandates and restrictions and health codes, and they're not going to just because Joe Biden says it, especially because
Yeah.
I mean their their leader, or the person who they listen to more than anyone else, is made it seem like it was a feminine thing to wear a mask. He wouldn't do it in public. In fact, never did it until July. What we 6 months into the pandemic at that point, and we're like, oh, there's a mask. And he went to a testing facility one time in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Toward the facility, didn't wear a mask because he didn't wear a mask. They had to throw out all the tests they made that day. It's like, just had to. Why? I don't understand. That messaging is so simple, and then it created such a political issue just because he didn't abide by it, and here we are.
To answer your question, Reggie, that's a no.
Yeah, and it's just so wild because when you see the things like I'm sure everybody sees like on Twitter where they're saying like other countries it's not even a big deal anymore.
That's not true.
Shout out to New Zealand.
That used to be somewhat the case, but in Europe they're locking down. Like the UK just locked down again.
Yeah, Europe is a tricky.
But isn't that still a positive sign that they lock down again? I mean, of course, more cases.
I mean,
but
not really, because the cases popped up for them to lock down.
I guess I get what you're saying.
Granted, no offense, we weren't really counting on Europe to like be the Italy was like one of the hardest hit places once it hit, and
Yeah, until we said hold our beer.
Wait a minute, we got this. But there are some places.
Did you say they're number one? America number one in everything.
Challenge
Obesity,
accepted.
COVID.
Exactly. But shout out to New Zealand and places like that kept the cases down and been smart about it.
It's so crazy. Like, I feel like we are literally doing it sucks saying we because it's like I'm a part of it, but like it's like the world is literally just allowing the United States to become a dystopia, like straight out of a book. But in the midst of this all, how have your guys' lives changed, or what are you doing how have your guys' lives have changed, and what are you doing to not be like utterly devastated by everything going on? Like for myself, the pandemic started. I left my job.
You left, or
I know, seriously, I ended up leaving my job. I knew I wanted to leave where I was working at the time. I was working at Enterprise, been there for multiple years. And I left to another job because the pandemic really allowed me to kind of just put some things in a perspective for myself. Like life is really going to keep going. One of the first things they preached about at church was how everything's for a season. So I've been thinking a lot about when the pandemic ends. And there are going to be people who come out of this COVID-19 and they'll be in a better position, like internet sales and stuff like that. That's like the business to be in. It's
yeah,
like
that's what I want to see. Jeff Bezos double his net worth. Yeah,
Yeah.
woohoo!
Yeah.
Yay!
That's true.
I love it. Let's give him more money and more power, more control. Yes.
But even on
small business.
Yeah, but even on like a smaller scale, I've heard many people say that like if you couldn't sell right now, like you would never be able to do it. And so, I mean, for me, just when it came time to
well, that seems interesting to say. I mean, people are on different budgets now than they were a couple of months ago, so I think it's kind of unfair to say that if you can't sell something now. I understand what they're saying. There's more eyes and more opportunity to sell, but people still have to prioritize at this point.
Yeah.
Like both ends be true.
But so after I decided I known, like I said earlier, that I want to own my own business. And it just wasn't going to happen.
Frozen yogurt place.
Right. So that wasn't going to happen while I was working at my job. Just wasn't going to be able to do that while committing an enormous amount of hours, like even overtime hours, to my job and trying to do something for myself on the side. It wasn't going to work. So I left for a different job where, I mean, while things are different than I expected, it allows me a lot of the time to work And since then, I'm like 1.5 business started right now. Half because the other thing is still coming together. But I'm moving. I'm shaking. I'm trying to keep it together. Nick, Kyrie, whichever one of you, tell us about how the pandemic has shifted. Thanks.
I didn't have to commute anymore. That's about it.
Same company, same everything.
Yep.
Wow,
I
that's
just
so-
started working just before all this happened, so I am not even really fully immersed into my job, even though I'm currently working right now. But I don't have to commute, and I probably won't have to commute into the office until probably they're telling us July. So
Whoa. They're trying to get us back in the office by, at this new job, they're trying to get people back in the office by January.
yeah, that's what our office initially said, and then they were like, "But the cases are rising, and why would they go down in the winter? So why risk it?"
That's responsible. Kyrie, what about you?
I go to work every day. I still commute, very much so. I would say the only thing that's really changed is I've had more time to, get creative and get my fingers in the different pots and different business ideas and whatnot. But aside from that, it's really not for me. I like staying home. I like
Okay.
being inside. I'm an introvert. I'm a homebody. This is perfect. Like that first 2-3 months when COVID hit, I was like, say less. It's nothing but movie marathons and music and jump.
You definitely did. I remember you watched like all of the Avengers and like again.
It's facts. So this March, like it hit March, like all right, I got time now. We're gonna start this from the beginning. Watch the whole MCU, start to finish, about like a week and a half, 2 weeks. It was great.
Speaking of classic movie franchises and their subsidiaries or sequels or whatever the hell you want to call them, did you watch The Mandalorian, Kyrie? Reggie doesn't watch Star Wars because he sucks.
I have not watched it yet, but I need to. It's necessary.
Is The Mandalorian
Watch this week's episode of This Is Us. Don't rush me, Nick. I got things to watch.
You put down everything and you watch The Mandalorian. That's just rule number one.
I'm more than likely to watch This Is Us before I watch the episode of Mandalorian.
To watch the what?
I'm more than likely to watch This Is Us, like before I watch.
I watch that occasionally. I like it, but I don't like go out and seek it. It's just like if it's on television and my mom's watching it, I'll sit down and watch a little bit of it.
I thoroughly enjoy it, but I also have a girlfriend who thoroughly enjoys it.
So that means
That's a double. Yeah.
That's not really a double. That's an overpowering single. So what you feel like watching? Well, what do you feel like watching? I want to watch This Is Us. You know what? That's what I wanted to watch too.
How's The Bachelorette?
So we can talk about it. Discuss it. Going behind delays things. Delays aren't good.
Don't listen, Reggie. You're questioning him. I'm sure that he makes Olivia watch American Ninja Warrior or something like that. Whenever the hell Kyrie watches.
Nah. Try to get her to watch the CrossFit documentary once. She was like, "Yeah, so can I cut this off?"
That's what's up, man. Autumn is really Autumn always makes it clear when she doesn't want to watch something I want to watch. I'll be like, oh, you know what? We watched your show before. You want to watch this? And she'll be like, you know what? Why don't you go ahead? And then she just wait. Autumn makes it clear. Autumn also is the type, okay, since we're on this subject.
Get into it. Let's go.
Autumn is the type.
She's not home, I'm assuming, right?
No, she's upstairs.
Yeah.
So Autumn is the type where
whisper a little bit more, honestly, buddy.
She doesn't like Autumn. Okay, I'm just kidding. But like, so she will not finish a show if one thing happens that she doesn't like, and that kills me. Like, okay, so to give an example,
give me, please. I need.
Give an example. The diehard fan of The Walking Dead. She has like
It's so wait. Can I
Memory-
tell you? That's so weird. That's the show I thought in my head. That was the first show that you when you said that. That was the first show that I thought in my
Because I
head.
probably told you this before.
I've never seen that a day in my life.
It's
Die
not a
Hard
bad show at all.
of The Walking Dead has
One of the highest rated television shows on cable television ever.
like spoiler alert. As soon as that bat hit Glenn's head, like she said, as soon as
Yeah.
she went like
Well,
never
if
watched
you
it
had
again.
if you had ever even got a glimpse of a glance at the comics, you knew that was going to happen.
So she's also not like a Game of Thrones fan then.
No. Well, but you know what? She says she wants to start it. I'll probably we'll probably start that soon. I want to watch it too. I started it. I have a
You're gonna
Yes.
love it and then be really disappointed.
You're gonna love it till about the end of season 7.
Oh, it's so
till about
sad.
Season 6.
Oh, it's so sad.
I think this is good though, because we have the opportunity to say, okay, so at the end of this is us, The Mandalorian. Why is The Mandalorian worth watching, Nick?
Um,
Shouldn't have to ask that question.
Reggie, you don't watch Star Wars. Like, I don't know how to explain why a Star Wars TV show is worth watching to a non-Star Wars fan. But I will say that I have plenty of friends that don't watch any Star Wars, and for some reason, oddly, hate Star Wars. I guess just because, people like to hate things that are fun.
I don't hate Star Wars. Don't do that.
No, I wasn't talking about you. I'm talking about other people that, I
Really?
know that really hate Star Wars for God knows what reason. They think it's like kiddie and nerdy, and it's like any other movie series. But
Well, tell them to shut up. Tell them to shut up.
they
Nick.
still watch The Mandalorian because it's a
Stunning.
it's beautiful in terms of like in terms of like the landscapes and the scenery and all those
Oh,
things. Like,
okay.
they put a lot of it's really like, oh wow, this is nice, this is iconic. It's a great storyline, and it's one that it's a storyline that has some relation to Star Wars, but yeah, I consider myself a diehard Star Wars fan. I have absolutely no idea where the series is going, and that really interests me more because it's the unknown of this new Star Wars story and new Star Wars generation.
So let me ask you, Nick, as someone I've never watched a Star Wars movie all the way through, but I've seen a lot of pieces, and I'm a fan of a couple of the games.
Yeah, I know. You play more games than you've ever seen the movies. It's crazy.
Really because of you, though. But anyways,
Oh,
that's the truth.
It's cute.
This is the truth. The first time I played a Star Wars game, well, really the second. My dad bought me like one on Nintendo 64 before. But the first time I played a Star Wars game, that Battlefront, Nick was in his room playing it, and I came by on some RA stuff.
okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
I texted Reggie like the U up.
Yeah, yeah.
He swung by,
He said, "I'll be right back. I'll be right there."
hopped up in that twin bed of mine.
To play Star Wars.
Little cuddle in Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm gotta cut this. But okay, so The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is good. Would you say that's watchable for someone who hasn't seen Star Wars?
Since I have many friends that don't watch Star Wars, don't like Star Wars, and yet like The Mandalorian and watch The Mandalorian religiously,
Really?
yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So The Mandalorian, This Is Us, great show, especially if your girlfriend wants to watch it.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, same way Nick was passionate about what he was saying. I mean, I love Mandalorian as well, but like, This Is Us does this thing where they can have great storyline, great dialogue. Like the music is set perfectly with the scene, a song that you've never heard before, and you might not like even be your interest, but like some like folk song that just complements what they're talking about well with a flashback, or at the same time something happened present. It's like all this coming together in this melting pot, just like, and then it hits you with a twist at the end, and it goes off, and you're like, now what do I do for myself?
Music is such an underrated part of any kind of good, movie or TV show production. I mean, it's
Good
so
argument.
important
Good
to
argument.
because I was watching Fargo on Hulu, and I love Fargo, great TV show.
Good.
And they had a whole beginning of the episode. The first 5 minutes of the episode, they introduced every main character that you already knew who they were, but they introduced them as a representation in the orchestra. For instance, there was someone that they called, the birds, and it was the flutes, and there was someone that they called the wolf, and it's like a very deep, maybe a cello. Maybe it might be a cello, and when this guy who was considered the wolf was approaching this house, you didn't know it was him. You only saw the footsteps, but you heard the deep. Actually, maybe it was a bassinet. I don't know off the top of my head, but it was a very deep, evil sounding lead up, and you're like, oh, the wolf's approaching, or the other one was the cat. It was just very interesting how they were setting it up, and you could know who was coming where and what the scene was that was being set, and the whole mood shifts just based on who's entering. And it is, I like the description they put, like a well-timed orchestra.
Great.
I was just about to say, it's something about an orchestra. That makes me think of my favorite cartoon movie, The Best of Them All. Many people will think it would be like, oh, The Backyardigans something, but no, The
The
Incredible.
Rugrats Go to Paris. Oh,
Rugrats Go to Paris was hard.
Shout out to the Rugrats once.
I mean,
That was-
we're talking about the best movies of all time. I mean, Rugrats in Paris, it's got to be up there. I still have a bookmark from when that movie came out, and I had it on VHS, and opened it up, and there was a bookmark in there. It's like, yeah, I still have that bookmark.
To that one, oddly enough, I do enjoy the Paris one, but I do.
The one where they got lost in the woods?
Yeah, the one where
But-
he's born. What's his name?
Dill.
Dill. When Dill is born.
And you know what's funny? I've never seen that, but one of Autumn's favorite things to talk about is how, what is his name? Tommy really tried to kill Dill in that movie. He tried to kill him.
I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't really try to kill him. He
Tried to get
just
rid of him.
Send him off.
He tried to.
He did the
kill.
mafia thing where he's like, I'm going to make him take a trip for a while.
He's
gonna go away.
Placed him in the woods. He wasn't trying to be off him. He just didn't want him around his family. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
understandable.
He tried to end his life.
He wanted the
with a
stork to
shotgun.
take it back.
Great soundtrack, by the way. Back to music. I love that orange tape. Shout out to Rugrats. But yeah, themes are important. I definitely agree with that, Nick. Once I hear Jurassic Park's theme, or
Mm-hmm.
dun, 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 it's just
Mm-hmm. There are certain themes they give you a chill down your back too.
the
Why you're just
Avengers theme in Endgame made me cry. I've heard it a million times, but when
And they were all coming out of the
exactly,
yeah, and
and,
you're
and
just
then
like
you heard the dun, dun, it was just perfect.
mm-hmm.
Shed a tear over it. That's how
I think I was able to hold it together until when Captain America picked up Thor's hammer and just started beating the ever-loving shit out of Thor. That's when I was like, this is the best moment that I've ever seen in my life. This is amazing. Ever since Thor's little sideways glance where he just like looked at Captain America because it budged even the slightest bit when he moved it,
You've been waiting for
I was like, oh baby, give me. I want him to hammer that into my right into my visuals.
I can speak for me and my sister. That's not when we got emotional.
Really?
Yeah, not at all. I love you 3000, man. That was the worst line of that entire movie, man. I was miserable.
That made you cry.
Come on, man. It was like, come on, why y'all point? That was horrible.
I cried at America's ass.
That seems like what you cried.
America's ass. I was like, hell, yes, it is.
Yeah, right. So, anyways, thank you for tuning in, and yeah, let us know in the comments what you thought about what movies are out there that you enjoy because of the theme song. Do you like This Is Us or The Mandalorian? And did you keep watching The Walking Dead after Glenn died? Did you know he died? Because he did. He died a pretty bad death.
Jesus God, Reggie.
Yeah.
You really make this podcast more about the nothing than the anything and everything. I can say that for certainty.
That's what he's here for.
I'm here to continue the conversation. This is Reggie signing out of a great first episode titled
Hey, Roy, yeah.
The First Episode.
Yeah, Reggie's head of creative, so he came up with that one.
Hi, everyone. From Pennsauken.
We'll see,
Wherever that is.
Friday with the,
I moved. I don't even live in Pennsauken.
This guy, man, repping a place he
Weirdo.
don't from anymore.
Yeah, man. We're a suburb of Philadelphia. Y'all have a blessed one.